The horror genre has some truly terrifying monster creations, whether it be Chucky, Freddy, Jason, or even every single monster in the cabin in the woods. There are many that have stood the test of time and aren't easy to forget. However, some of these terrifying monsters only appear on screen once, but they are horrifying enough to maintain a lasting legacy. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 horror movie monsters you only see once part 2. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, Dead Heat Triple Face Zombie. Who doesn't want a zombie horror buddy cop comedy? It's the greatest combination there is. Released in 1988 and directed by Mark Goldblatt, the movie follows an LAPD police officer who is murdered while attempting to arrest zombies who have been reanimated by the head of Dante Laboratories in order to carry out violent, armed robberies, and decides to get revenge with the help of his former partner. Now, the greatest creature design in the movie is by far the triple face zombie. It appears once but definitely lingers in the minds of viewers. It takes you a minute to realize exactly what you're looking at, with the design being so effective yet so baffling. It's genius. This is the one moment in the movie where the goofy energy is thrown out of the window and pure terror comes to the forefront, because this creature is absolutely horrific to behold. Now, the movie well and truly bombed, with it receiving an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, with Michael Wilmington for the Los Angeles Times stating, I quote, "On the screen it seems to be like a walking corpse itself, jerking around malevolently, with putrefying limbs, a fixed grisly smile on its face, and absolutely no spontaneity." In at 4 we have Legion, Demon Lady. Legion isn't the best movie, in fact I would consider it a terrible movie, but that's just my opinion and horror is incredibly subjective. Released in 2010 and directed by Scott Stewart, Legion stars Paul Bettany and follows a group of strangers inside a diner who find themselves surrounded by demons. However, they find hope in Michael, an archangel who wishes to protect the unborn child of the restaurant's waitress. With a cast as strong as this one, you would expect the movie would be better. I will say though that Paul Bettany does a good job kicking ass, but that's about it. However, the movie does consist of some memorable highlights, particularly the Demon Lady. If you've watched the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. During one moment, an old lady enters the diner. She appears to be particularly charming, but not for long, because soon she turns into a terrifying demon lady, biting a guy's throat and walking across the ceiling like a spider. It is incredibly unsettling and arguably the most terrifying moment of the movie. Now, like I said, the movie wasn't a hit among viewers or critics, with it receiving a mere 19%, with the general consensus reading, despite a solid cast and intermittent thrills, Legion suffers from a curiously languid pace, confused plot, and an excess of dialogue. In at 3 we have Tokyo Gore Police, Alligator Girl. If you're seeking splatter and gore, look no further than Tokyo Gore Police. With a title such as that, it is sure to give you everything you're looking for, and that it does. Released in 2008 and directed by Yoshihiro Nishimura, the movie entertainingly follows a vengeful policewoman who battles an army of cyborg creatures that begin to showcase some horrific mutations. The movie itself is set in the near future, where a mad scientist known simply as Keyman has created a virus that mutates humans into horrific creatures called engineers that can sprout weapons from any injury. Fun times. Enter a special squad of officers called Engineer Hunters who are created to deal with the problem. This is splatter horror at its finest. Do you think Kill Bill was gory? You need to check out Tokyo Gore Police immediately. However, arguably the most terrifying and uncomfortable moment in the movie involves Alligator Girl, a woman who, to put it simply, has an alligator mouth below her waist, which is fairly suggestive depending on how you look at it, or how dirty your mind is. I didn't take it there, you did. The scene is absolutely insane, as you would expect when looking at the picture of this movie monster, with it being the one moment in the movie that stands out to most people. It honestly makes the movie teeth seem tame. Coming in at number 2 we have The Thing, Spider Thing. The Thing is one of the most iconic and influential horror movies when it comes to creature designs and legacy within the genre. Released in 1982 and directed by John Carpenter, The Thing is based on the 1938 novella Who Goes There, with it telling the story of a group of American researchers in Antarctica who encounter the creature known as The Thing, a parasitic life form that can assimilate and imitate other organisms. This of course begins to cause paranoia amongst the group as they begin to realize that any one of them could in fact be the Thing. Throughout the movie, we watch as it takes on many different forms, whether inside of a dog, a human, or even in a petri dish. However, the scariest form is the Spider Thing, a form we only witness once throughout the movie, but it is also the form we're most familiar with it also being the scene that many think of when they think of the Thing. The scene in question begins with Norris, one of the team members, being outed as the Thing, with the creature splitting off the body and attempting to escape from the rest of the crew. It ends up sprouting some legs and running its little spider legs away. It's absolutely terrifying to behold, that's for sure. The only reaction to have during the scene is one of pure terror and bafflement. It ends up being met with a flamethrower, so all is well, but as we know, the ending of the Thing doesn't give us a happy ending, but more questions, and much more paranoia. And finally, in at number 1 we have The Fly, Brundlefly. The Fly is a movie that still resonates with horror movie lovers today, even after 30 years. It has stood the test of time, and with its use of practical effects, it still holds up, which is hard to do in the horror genre. Released in 1986 and directed by David Cronenberg, this science fiction body horror stars Jeff Goldblum as Seth Brundle, an eccentric scientist who begins transforming into a fly hybrid after one of his experiments goes terribly wrong. Now, don't mistake this movie as purely a creature feature, because The Fly is much more than that. It's a story of romance, but also an emotional drama, with you being forced to watch on as Seth Brundle slowly transforms into his disturbing creature over the course of the movie. He deteriorates, losing his human appearance and humanity. It's almost devastating, especially towards the end, with his final request being to be put out of his misery. The transition from human to fly over the course of the movie is slow, with the final stage being the Brundlefly, a creation we only see once over the course of the movie, and it is downright disturbing and terrifying, and almost sad knowing there is a human life still in there somewhere. At this point, he is completely unrecognizable, fully transformed into the fly hybrid, clinging to walls and vomiting incessantly. Now, I don't want to ruin the climax of the movie for those who haven't seen it, but trust me when I say that it is a doozy, incredibly intense and even more emotional, with Seth Brundle being lost completely to his crazed experiments. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with that list? Were there any horror movie monsters that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 3. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 5 horror TV show theories that might be true. Ancestor Empire said, so you're telling me that I went back in time to the 80s and Lucy is in the Whitesnake music video? I didn't get the reference at all. I don't know if you're talking about the thumbnail of the video, I don't know if you're talking about what I was wearing. I don't really know what you're talking about. I'm not actually that familiar with Whitesnake, so I hope it's a compliment. Tom Smith said, never really noticed these theories before. Well, that's why I'm here, to explain the theories and give them to you. You're welcome. Chananjin Kumar Ball said, I love this channel, especially you, Lucy, you always make things spooky. Thank you, I've been told I'm quite scary. Unintentionally scary. I don't mean to be. It's just because I have a resting face. I'm unimpressed with the world. Red Comrade of Steel 1974 said, Lucy McPhee, I have only one theory. You're from Planet X. Thanks, probably. Would make the most sense. Nikita Red said, I'll definitely take you on a date, Lucy. Thank you. I'm waiting. Whenever you're ready. I'm aggressively single. Not aggressively. Just, you know, a normal amount of single. Single and looking. Single and ready to mingle. Swifty McSwift said, Lucy has legs. I was seriously thinking she was like a version of the Davros, half human, half Dalek. Still as beautiful as ever though. Yeah, someone else commented this on my Instagram saying they were shocked I had legs. I guess you never really see my legs, so when you do see them in all their glory, which isn't that much glory, it's quite a surprise. But you're welcome, I do have legs. They're attached to my body. I use them to walk. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary bit. Until next time, see you later.